Hey, how you doing? You. Nice that you clicked on this video. Thank you for spending time on my video. Well, anyway, I just wanted to tell you that anything I say on here in this video, you should not take seriously because I do have some experience in building keyboards, but it's not like I'm a pro in this. So, yeah, just take every information with a grain of salt. Oh, and another thing, English is not my native language, so I sometimes I'm not fluent in it, so I might skip something. But yeah, just keep that in mind. The first thing I'm doing, mostly when I'm getting stuff, is I'm checking the PCB for any flaws, or not working contacts, I guess. Yeah, but in this case, everything seemed working. So I unpacked my silicon mat to actually start unpacking all the other tools to actually start modding the keyboard, like the loop, my loop station, and yeah, that thing. I also had a switch opener lying around, but those are for MX style switches, so it wouldn't work on Halo clears, because Halo clears are Kale style switches, and here they are, the Halo clears. What? Oh, yeah, and you might be asking yourself right now why we chose these switches. Well, it's simple. When my girlfriend listened to those switches, she started laughing. Yeah, and that's the reason why we chose those switches. Yeah, let's pack everything away and let's actually start opening the switches to loop them. And because I didn't have a switch opener, I had to open them with tweezers, and it was actually way easier than I expected. So you just take two tweezers and you stick it on both ends of the switch, and then you like open it, like you peer it open. No, you don't say peer, you just open them, and then you take them apart. And in my case, because I had a loop station, I put the different parts of the different switches into the different places on the loop station. And because I don't want to show you guys how I took everything apart, I will do some magic. Perfect. Now we have everything sorted out, and I will show you how to actually loop the switches. Well, how I loop my switches. So I take a bag, small bag, I put in all the springs because I don't have enough patience to actually loop every single spring. Yeah, and in this bag I have Triblosis 3204 instead of Crytox 105 because I don't have it just lying around, and I'm also gonna loop the switches with them. So yeah, basically you just want to shake it forever, like actually forever, like just straight up like 5 minutes. Actually no, 10, 20. Actually just well, anyway, no, actually just shake the bag and massage the springs for about like 5 minutes. I think that should be enough. And after that, you just want to take all the springs out, and if you want, you can also already untangle them, but I don't actually care. Yeah, because I untangled them when I'm putting them on my bottom housing. So no worries, I don't actually take that much loop. I brush it off like a good kid. I use minimal amount of loop, especially on tactile switches like these, because I still want to feel that tactile bump. Well, I don't. I actually like linear switches, but my girlfriend does. So basically what I do is I go a lot of times along the rails of the bottom housing, and after that I will just touch the bottom of the housing and go like in circles and go wee circles, yeah. And actually at the end I will just put my brush into the hole to just loop the inside to make everything smoother a little bit. After that I will take the spring and I will put it onto the bottom housing. And by the way, don't use too much loop, don't over loop the switches because they will feel mushy and not good, and they just don't feel good. Just don't do it, please. Don't do it for me because I'm so nice. Look, just don't do it, okay? Let's get to the stems. I just go again a lot of times on the side like other YouTubers would say like 3 or 4 times, but I can't count, so I will just brush it. And I will take actually like a lot of care to not brush the little legs, like the little 2 legs, because yeah, I looped one accidentally and they actually just felt like linear switches, so yeah, just don't do it. After that, I just looped the stem inside of the stem, just to make it actually smoother. I will put the stem onto the spring, and you actually have to watch out so the 2 legs will actually look towards the metal thingy inside of the switch, of the bottom housing. Yeah, and as you can see, if you do it right and you press down, then you will kind of activate it. Let's get to the top housing. I once again will just put minimal amount of lube on the sides of the top housing and a little bit onto the housing itself, kind of. Yeah, and after everything is looped, I will put the 2 parts together now. So you want to watch out that the kind of like the rounded part of the top housing will be on the side with the metal parts of the bottom housing, so you won't break the switches, just like here. And yeah, I will just show you a time lapse now of how I loop the switches, because I actually don't want to bore you too much. So after looping all the switches, I'm gonna go and tune the stabilizers. So right now I'm just checking which length of stabilizers I'm gonna use, so I won't do any dumb mistakes. I put on some how are they called? I think stab films, I think, something like that, from KBD fans. I put them on there. Yeah. And I'm also doing kind of like a holy mod kind of thing, but I was too lazy to actually cut band-aid, so I just used the sides of the switch, not switch film, of the stab film thingy, and I put it in there, and I used that as kind of like a holy mod replacement. So I took a tweezer and then I pushed the tape, I guess, against the insides of the stabilizer stem. I pushed really hard so they won't come off. Also on the back side to create a nice angle, and at the end on the side with the 2 holes, I will put the end of the tape in there, just so it definitely won't get off. The rest I will just cut off, and I will repeat with all the other stems. So now I will take quite a generous amount of lube. This time I'm using Krytox 205 grade 0. So I took a quite generous amount of lube, and I lubed the insides of the stabilizer housing, and I also lubed the stabilizer stems. And remember to use quite a lot of lube, so it won't rattle at all. And yeah, at the end I will put the stem inside of the housing with the 2 holes in the stem facing away from the screw holes. Then I will take again quite a generous amount of lube, and I will spread it on the ends of the wire, because they tend to rattle quite a lot. So you cover them, and then when you put them in the bottom hole of the 2 holes, and after that you just click them in. Yes, and repeat that on the other side. After you've done all your stabs, I would actually test them first, because after you solder in the switches, you can't tune the stabs anymore. So here I'm just sound testing them to make sure they sound good. So after tuning the stabs, I was getting the plate ready. I found some foam tape lying around in the house, so I just used it to kind of reduce the reverb in my keyboard. Yeah, after finishing up the plate, I put a few switches in to put it on the PCB, but then I saw that the foam was a little bit too thick, so I had to use kind of like a press thingy to keep the board together, and then I just soldered in a few switches so it would stay like that. Yeah, after that I would solder like all the 4 corners and just a few more to just really keep the spacing between the plate and the PCB so it won't move. After that I would just add all the rest of the switches. I would just plug them in, and I would solder them all in then. Yeah, so after soldering all the switches, I was testing them and I was really glad everything was working because desoldering is not fun at all. So after everything, I would take the case and finally put everything together. So I put the plate and the PCB in with the switches, and then I had to use a little bit of force because of the foam was kind of like leaking to the sides. And I then used a few screws to just screw them in. And now we're getting to the last part of building a keyboard. The keycaps! Putting on the keycaps is like the most satisfying thing because it's so easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of concentration. You just take the keycaps and you put them on. Very satisfying. But do you know what is more satisfying? I know, you guessed it. B-roll. Oh, by the way, here's a typing test if you wanted to take a listen. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, oh, definitely write something in the comment, like about what I should do next or something, I don't know. Well, anyways, see ya.